Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University. I'm reading Infamous Iron Man, issue number 6. Now, the way that this comic starts off is Doom, way back in the day, thinking about reminding himself of when he first had that interaction with Reed back in the day when he's trying to work on the machine to speak with the dead, to try and go into hell, basically, clairvoyantly, and find and converse with his mother. Now, Reed comes in and he's trying to talk to him. You guys know this story, right? It's like one of the older stories in comics. And Ben, of course, is like the absolute biggest dunce ever. So anyway, that's the conversation in the beginning. And we get a quick glimpse of what the machine looks like, you know, modern day, whatever. Now, put a pin in that because I think it's relevant. Otherwise, why they bother putting it in there? So later on, we see that the Wizard is talking to George Tarleton. All right, this is m.o.d.o.c. actually, the Wizard talking to m.o.d.o.c. and he calls him George at one point, which I think is just great. His original name was George Tarleton. So the idea they have these two old school characters, you're talking about like original Fantastic Four and original Captain America comics, respectively. Like that's actually kind of cool. Even though the Wizard, at least, hasn't been relevant since forever. So yeah, we have this conversation where the Wizard is saying Doom is going around. He took out the Mad Thinker. He's taking out people, man. He went after Diablo and everything. And m.o.d.o.c. doesn't believe it until all of a sudden he's like, you know what? You're right. Why do you suddenly believe me? Well, because he's behind you. So Doom shows up behind the Wizard. Wizard throws some anti-grav boots on him. I mean, like, come on. Of course he's going to do that. And the idea that Doom got suckered into that is kind of iffy up in the air. Well, we get to see that he rips off his own boots, and then he flies down using just his gauntlet repulsors, and then a little bit of magic also. And he goes up, and it's cool because he's actually a little bit respectful of the idea that the Wizard was able to overcome his sorcery. So he goes back after him, and then he's facing him. He's about to take him out, and suddenly gets distracted by the machine that the Wizard is building. It's a giant-sized and, I think, version of the original machine that he was working at in the beginning. I could be completely wrong. Maybe there's just some random other giant machine that he's working on. I don't know, but it's something that actually distracted Doom. And he's like, what are you working on? What did you make? What did you do? And the Wizard is able to blindside him and knock him out. Yeah, I've never seen the Wizard anywhere near that level of power before, even with a majorly distracted Doom. Well, we get to see a little sidebar of Doom and Doom's mother, Cynthia, and the Maker, the evil Reed Richards from the Earth 1610 Ultimate Universe. And I'm liking this because, hey, the greatest enemy for Doom has always been Reed Richards. Now the players have simply reversed sides, right? They're playing for each other's teams, essentially. This is a very interesting comic, and I love seeing what's happening here. It's just, it's weird that the dialogue doesn't quite seem up to par. That's just my opinion on this. I'm looking at this, and it seems like the writing was just a really quick write-off. You know, let me just try and put out this comic really quick. Like, oh, wow, the deadline is tomorrow, and I forgot to even work on the comic. Let me just throw something together really quick. Yeah, this sounds like something Doom would say. There's not a lot of speaking in this. There's not a lot of narration in this. There's not a lot of anything, really, in this, except that drawing style. Now, the drawing style is cool, but without the dialogue to kind of give it a little bit of a reference point, it's very hard to make sense of what's going on in the comic. Now, we finally get to see that we're a little bit more up to date by issue 6, and Maria Hill has been booted from S.H.I.E.L.D, and now Agent Carter is in charge, Agent 13. Finally, it's about time. And we also get to see that she's more no-nonsense, but she also doesn't quite think things all the way through. Interesting, since Agent 13 is, this is the reason why she's got the name Agent 13, is the 13th agent that's ever been hired by S.H.I.E.L.D. And she's always been the best, basically, the best as far as like rankings go and things like that. She's always been up there as one of the #1 agents under Nick Fury, and now obviously without him. Well, Doom just basically walks all over her, and I'm actually kind of okay with that. But at least we get to see that Doom is at least moving forward in the timeline progression of things, and he should be in Secret Empire. I mean, that's what everything Marvel is coming to, and that's literally the most exciting story arc that I'm seeing coming up, that I'm most excited for myself since, God, what? Civil War, the first one? I mean, forget about it. So it's good to see that there's some progression there. Anyway, I'm looking forward again still to seeing what this comic is doing, but this comic in and of itself, I'm going to give it a B+. That's the lowest grade I've given an Infamous comic so far, but I just don't think it's as good as the other ones. Once again, though, it does set up something cool, because we take a little peek over in Chicago and we see that Riri Williams has seen on the news that the infamous Iron Man is around. She doesn't know that's Dr. Doom. She's going to be in way over her head, but hey, the idea of actually getting these two Iron Men working together, oh, that's great. And of course, they're going to have their little precursory battle first. But okay, I'm sold. I'm sold just on that prospect alone. That's probably one of the reasons why I'll just give this comic a lower grade. Anyway, guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, class dismissed.